Hi, this is George Sandman. I'm the founder and CEO of Growth Drive. Growth Drive is the #1 best-selling business advising platform, and this is our podcast, The Business Advisor Hot Seat. Now, in the hot seat, you're going to hear from industry leaders, thought leaders, your colleagues who are going to share tips, techniques, war stories about building a thriving advisory business based on delivering client wins. We're going to get into it. We'll get into it about the Growth Drive methodology, the Clarity software, what we see out in the world, so much more than just the system. And I'm also the author of The Growth Driving Advisor, which is based on over a decade of being an advisor to advisor, working with you and your colleagues, helping them build their practices, helping them through client engagements, and it's really proven strategies for leading businesses from stuck to best in class. Check it out. So strap in. We're going to light this up. Here we go. Good morning. I'm in Colorado with my kids. We're about to go into the backcountry. And, I've been thinking, I was in a meeting the other day, and we were talking about MRR. And it got me thinking about MRR, strategic capacity, durable revenues. And I wrote an article about that, which we just posted as a blog post. And then I took that article and I've used AI to convert it into a conversation between Claire and Brian. And yes, it is AI. I think you'll find it very interesting. The beauty of the system is that it goes and pulls additional context, even though it's operating in a box. So listen up. I hope you enjoy it, and send me your comments. We've gotten a lot of compliments on these segments, so I'll keep them coming. And thank you. Listen, your success is very important to me. And if we can do anything to help, let us know. Thanks.
Usually, when we talk about a medical diagnosis, there's this, underlying expectation of precision.
Right, yeah. Like engineering almost.
Exactly, like engineering. I mean, you break your arm, you go to the hospital, and the x-ray shows that stark, jagged, white line across the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor just points to the screen and says, well, there it is.
Right, it's entirely binary. Like, it's broken or it's not broken.
Yeah.
It's clean, it's obvious, and most importantly, it's visible. We have this fundamental human bias toward things we can see and just neatly categorize.
We really do.
We desperately want a single metric, a single image that tells us exactly what is wrong or exactly what is right.
But, if you step into the world of evaluating a business, especially in this modern era of startups and acquisitions and private equity, suddenly that x-ray machine is it's completely broken.
Oh, totally shattered.
Right. We are operating in a diagnostic landscape that is just incredibly murky.
It really is.
Investors and founders alike, they're putting their absolute faith in numbers that look undeniably healthy on the surface, but they might actually be masking a terminal illness underneath. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We are looking at a massive, universally accepted misconception in the modern business world today, and that is the unquestioning obsession with monthly recurring revenue, or MRR.
Yes. The Holy Grail.
Exactly. It's treated like the absolute Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I mean, you have it, you're a genius.
And if you don't, you're told to pivot your entire business model until you do.
Right. But, for you listening today, the lifelong learner who wants to actually understand the mechanics of success without all the fluff, our mission in this deep dive is based on excerpts from Strategic Capacity, the Architecture of Asset Class Businesses. And when we look at the actual architecture of how asset class businesses are built, MRR is often just an illusion of safety.
It is a phenomenal illusion, honestly. But, an illusion nonetheless. And to be clear, for you listening, today we are going to fundamentally change how you evaluate the strength of any organization.
Any organization.
Right. We have to move entirely away from the comfort of past performance, which is really what MRR actually represents and looks squarely at future potential.
Which is a huge shift.
It is. Because before we can build a more resilient business model, we have to tear down the false idol of the current one.
And it really is a cult, isn't it? Like the cult of MRR.
Oh, absolutely.
If you look at the business landscape over the last, say, 10 to 15 years, you have founders chasing it endlessly.
Yeah, and advisors demanding it.
Right. And private capital markets reward it with these massive, sometimes totally illogical valuation multipliers.
It's wild. Entire industries, I mean, everything from enterprise software to shaving cream to dog food.
Dog food subscriptions, yes.
Right. They've all been completely re-engineered purely around the pursuit of getting that recurring revenue number as high as humanly possible.
It's basically like an automatic subscription to a gym.
That's a great analogy.
You know, it looks fantastic on a spreadsheet because the money comes in every single month without fail.
Sure.
But it tells you absolutely nothing about whether the gym has good equipment or, a solid management team, or if the roof is secretly caving in.
Exactly. And if you look at the surface level logic, I mean, it makes sense why people fall for it.
Yeah, it feels safe.
Right. If you sell a standalone product, like a one-off software license or a physical good, you have to wake up tomorrow and find a brand new customer.
You start at zero.
You start at zero every single month. But if you secure monthly recurring revenue, you wake up on the first of the month and your baseline revenue is already locked in.
Which is a great feeling.
It feels like security. But we have confused the metric, the MRR itself, with the actual reason the metric is supposed to matter.
So we are worshiping the thermometer instead of the actual temperature.
That's exactly it.
Think about it like having a massive following on social media. MRR has basically become the business equivalent of a follower count.
Oh, that's spot on.
You see an influencer with like 5 million followers, and you just automatically assume they are wealthy, influential, and running a successful media empire.
But that follower count tells you nothing about their actual engagement rate.
Right.
It doesn't tell you if those followers are just bots.
No.
It doesn't tell you if the influencer actually has the operational capability to monetize that audience, or if they're, secretly bankrupt behind the scenes.
The metric is just completely detached from the structural reality of the operation.
And what's fascinating here is how sophisticated investors, particularly private equity firms, actually view this dynamic.
Because they're the ones writing the checks.
Exactly. Private equity firms are the ultimate arbiters of business valuation in the modern market. And they don't actually love recurring revenue just because it recurs.
Wait, really?
No. I mean, they aren't just fans of a subscription billing structure for the fun of it. They love what they think it implies.
Okay.
And what it implies to them fundamentally is confidence.
Confidence that the machine won't break down the absolute second they take ownership.
Exactly. They want to guarantee that the business will continue producing and growing its free cash flow well into the future.
Right.
Historically, recurring revenue has been used as a proxy to build that confidence. But a proxy is just a stand-in.
It's not the thing itself.
Right.
Right.
And when investors actually look under the hood during due diligence, they often find that a company can have this massive, enviable MRR and still be fundamentally structurally broken.
Because of the fragility of that revenue.
Yes, the fragility is key.
I mean, a company can have millions in recurring revenue hitting the bank account every single month, but it still depends entirely on its original founder to close every single major deal.
Or it struggles terribly with daily execution, shipping delays, software bugs, just chaotic internal communication.
Yeah, just putting out fires all day.
Exactly. Or it's completely failing to innovate, essentially just coasting on an old product while competitors catch up.
Or it's actively bleeding goodwill.
Oh, that's a big one.
Like, you can have high MRR simply because your product is basically impossible to cancel.
We've all been there.
Right. Or because enterprise clients are locked into these brutal multi-year contracts that they deeply, deeply regret signing.
Right. So that revenue is recurring today, sure, but the enterprise itself is incredibly fragile.
It's a house of cards.
It is. It lacks the sustainable leadership and the internal systems to actually manage future growth.
But wait, let me push back a little here and just stop you there. Because if I'm a founder, right?
Okay.
And I'm pulling down 50 grand or maybe 500 grand a month in MRR, I might be listening to this deep dive right now and thinking, who cares?
Right. The money's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If the cash is hitting my bank account every 30 days, why should I care if private equity thinks my business is fragile? I'm making money. The cash is real. Why do I need to care about this hidden structural integrity if the output is currently making me rich?
Well, that is the exact trap that keeps founders trapped in their own companies forever.
Okay, how so?
You have to ask yourself what you actually own. Do you own an asset or do you own a very high-paying, incredibly stressful job?
Oh, wow.
If you are making 500 grand a month, but you have to work 80 hours a week just to keep the wheels from falling off,
Yeah.
you haven't built a business.
You've built a prison.
You've built a prison that happens to pay very well. And more importantly, When you eventually want to exit, when you want to sell that business and retire or just move on to your next project, you are going to face a brutal reality check.
Because the buyer isn't buying your past.
Precisely. A private equity firm, or really any intelligent acquirer, does not get to keep the money you made yesterday.
Right. They only get the revenue the company makes from the day they buy it forward.
They are buying the future. So your history, your really impressive MRR chart from the last 3 years is only useful to them if it proves that your future is secure.
Got it.
If you are doing all the heavy lifting, if the execution is chaotic, if there is no innovation pipeline, what happens when you, the founder, leave after the sale?
The entire house of cards just collapses.
Exactly. And when buyers see that fragility, they either walk away entirely or they heavily, heavily discount the valuation of your company.
Which hurts.
It does. They apply what's called a key person discount, or they structure the buyout with heavy earnouts, literally forcing you to stay at the company for years just to see your money.
So MRR is really just a lagging indicator. It's a rear-view mirror that tells you what the business has done.
Exactly.
But if MRR is just a rear-view mirror, how are private equity firms actually predicting the future during due diligence? I mean, they can't just guess.
No, they don't guess.
What is the leading indicator? Like, what is the actual metric that tells you what a business is truly capable of doing in the future?
This is where we introduce the antidote to the whole MRR illusion.
Okay.
It's the concept of strategic capacity. And the definition of strategic capacity in our source material is incredibly precise.
Let's hear it.
It is a company's demonstrated ability to predictably and sustainably grow free cash flow independent of individual heroics.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. That phrase, independent of individual heroics, that is a direct strike at the entire Silicon Valley hustle culture.
Oh, absolutely.
We've spent, decades glorifying the heroic founder, the CEO who sleeps under their desk.
The one working at 3 a.m.
Exactly. The sales VP who flies across the country at a moment's notice to personally save a dying account. But you're saying that from a valuation standpoint, those heroics are actually a massive liability.
They are a massive liability.
Let's dissect the mechanics of a hero in a business context. Why is this specific phrasing the linchpin of the entire philosophy? Why is being a hero so toxic to an organization's capacity?
Because heroics are, by definition, not scalable and not sustainable.
Yeah.
Think about the mechanics of what a hero actually does. A hero swoops in at the last minute to save the day when the system fails.
Right.
If your business requires a hero, it means your systems are broken. If the founder is staying up until 3 a.m. to rewrite a client proposal, it means there's no training protocol or quality control standard for the sales team.
Wow, yeah. If the head of operations is personally smoothing over some massive shipping error, it means there is no standard operating procedure for dispute resolution or logistics management.
So the hero is essentially just human duct tape.
Yes. That's exactly what they are.
They're masking the structural cracks in the foundation through sheer force of will and exhaustion.
And human duct tape eventually loses its adhesive.
Right. People burn out.
They burn out, they get sick, they have family emergencies, or, in the context of an acquisition, they sell the company and they just want to leave.
And when the hero leaves, the cracks are exposed and the system shatters.
Exactly. The ultimate question any buyer or investor is asking during due diligence is this: can this business be relied upon to create wealth and investor ROI without relying on any one specific person?
Which fundamentally changes what a business actually is, right? We are talking about the evolution from just having a revenue model to having what they call an asset class business.
That distinction is the absolute core of this entire philosophy.
Recurring revenue simply describes a revenue model. It is a billing tactic.
Right, it describes how you charge your customers.
Exactly. But an asset class business describes the quality of the enterprise itself. It is an identity.
So what does that look like in practice?
An asset class business is an organization that has developed the leadership, the internal systems, the culture, the operational discipline, and the innovation capabilities required to produce predictable profits without needing a hero.
So it's basically the difference between a car rolling down a hill really fast because someone left the parking brake off and a car driving fast because it has a finely tuned, meticulously engineered engine.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to look at it.
Because both are moving at 60 miles an hour.
Right.
Both look exactly the same on a basic radar gun, which in this analogy is MRR. But only one of them is actually in control of its destination, and only one of them can go uphill.
That's it, exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture of corporate vetting, this explains why the due diligence process is so notoriously grueling.
Yeah.
When a company is being acquired, the lawyers come in, the forensic accountants come in, they do management interviews, they execute quality of earnings reviews, they audit the IT infrastructure.
It's exhaustive.
It is. And they aren't just looking for accounting errors. Every single one of those invasive requests points to one single overarching objective.
Which is?
Reducing uncertainty about future performance. They are checking to see if they are buying a car with an engine or just a car rolling down a hill.
Let's actually look at a quality of earnings report, a QOE, because I think a lot of people hear that term and just assume it means auditing the tax returns.
Right, checking math.
Yeah, but a QOE goes much deeper into the mechanics of the revenue, right? It literally exposes the heroics.
Absolutely. A standard financial audit just tells you if the numbers add up according to accounting principles.
Okay.
But a quality of earnings report analyzes how those numbers were actually generated. A QOE will look at customer concentration like, are 80% of your recurring revenues tied to 3 clients who just happen to play golf with the founder?
Yikes.
Yeah.
If so, that revenue is highly fragile.
Exactly. It will look at employee churn. It will look at vendor contracts. It strips away the MRR vanity metric and asks, is the machinery that generated this cash structurally sound enough to do it again next year without the current owner?
Okay, so knowing that an asset class business one built on strategic capacity rather than individual heroics is the ultimate goal, how does an organization actually build that?
Right.
I mean, you can't just mandate an end to heroics. You can't just tell your exhausted founder to stop working so hard without the company collapsing. We need a mechanical blueprint here.
We do. And the text provides exactly that. The transition from founder-led to an asset class architecture requires mastering what we call the 3 dimensions of business growth.
3 dimensions, okay.
You have to build capacity across these 3 specific areas. Dimension 1 is predictable profits and cash flow.
Got it.
Dimension 2 is predictable, sustainable growth. And Dimension 3 is maximized transferable value.
Let's pause on that third one, Dimension 3, maximize transferable value.
Sure.
Because for you listening, this is the ultimate test of everything we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Transferable value is exactly what it sounds like, right? It is the ability to hand the business over to someone else, to transfer the ownership, without the internal machinery grinding to a halt.
Exactly.
If the value of the business is locked inside the founder's brain, their unwritten relationships with suppliers, their innate understanding of the market, their personal charisma that closes all the deals, then the value is fundamentally not transferable.
Yeah, not at all.
Because you can't put a founder's brain in an escrow account.
That is the ultimate litmus test. If you take the creator out of the creation, does it still function?
Right.
To achieve that transferable value, to master all 3 dimensions, you have to build out the internal architecture. And this architecture consists of 24 interconnected gears.
24 gears.
Yes. There are 8 specific gears or growth-driving objectives within each of the 3 dimensions.
Okay, 24 interconnected gears. Think of it like the movement inside a high-end, precision-engineered mechanical watch, like a Swiss watch.
I love that analogy.
You open the back of a Patek Philippe, and you see dozens of gears spinning in perfect harmony. It literally does not matter if 23 of those gears are made of solid gold, polished to absolute perfection, and spinning flawlessly.
Right.
If just one single gear in the middle of the movement is stripped or rusted or even slightly out of alignment, the watch does not tell time. The entire mechanism fails.
And the rule of this architecture, according to the text, is absolute. Every gear must be strong, and every gear must mesh with the others.
Because it's an interdependent ecosystem.
Exactly. Only then does the machine consistently produce profits, growth, and value. Let's look at how these gears interact.
Okay.
You might have a spectacular market strategy gear. Your marketing team is brilliant, your ad spend is highly optimized, and you are generating incredible demand.
Sounds great so far.
But if your talent management gear is broken, meaning you can't hire, train, and retain quality employees, your sales team won't be able to handle all those inbound leads.
And even if they do somehow close the leads, if your operational delivery gear is stripped, the customers will receive a terrible product.
Right.
Your customer service team will be completely overwhelmed with complaints, and your churn rate will just skyrocket. So the marketing gear was spinning perfectly, but because the downstream gears were stripped, the business still fails to generate predictable cash flow.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this raises an important question for leadership teams. Where are you focusing your energy?
We tend to focus on the gears we actually enjoy, right?
Exactly. A visionary, product-focused founder will polish the product innovation gear all day long, constantly tinkering with new features, while completely ignoring the financial controls gear.
Or the standard operating procedures gear.
Right. But the private equity buyer looking under the hood during due diligence doesn't just look at the shiny product gear.
I check all 24.
They check every single one. They want to know if the HR gear meshes with the operations gear and if the finance gear supports the sales gear. This engine is what actually generates the confidence that private equity firms are looking for.
But practically speaking, managing a 24-gear engine sounds entirely overwhelming.
It does.
I mean, if you're a CEO or a department head trying to monitor, optimize, and fund 24 different growth-driving objectives simultaneously seems like a one-way ticket to exactly the kind of burnout we're actively trying to avoid. You can't fix everything at once.
No, you can't. And that is why within this incredibly complex machine, there are ultimate leverage points.
Okay, good. So where are they?
Out of those 24 gears, 2 of them deserve massive, disproportionate attention because they create immense leverage across nearly everything else in the business.
They reduce friction for every other gear.
Exactly. We call them the twin supercharger.
I love that. So supercharger number 1 is located in dimension 1, which is predictable profits and cash flow. And that supercharger is customer satisfaction. Now, on the surface, I have to say, customer satisfaction sounds like the most generic corporate cliche imaginable.
It really does.
Every company on earth claims to care about customer satisfaction. But we aren't talking about friendly email greetings here. Why is this elevated to the mechanical level of a supercharger?
Because of the tangible, compounding mathematical effects it has on the business engine. Think about the friction in a standard business.
Okay.
If your customers are dissatisfied, your marketing gear has to work twice as hard and spend twice as much money just to replace the customers who are churning out.
Right.
Your sales gear faces massive resistance because your market reputation is poor. Your operations gear is constantly bogged down putting out fires and issuing refunds.
But when you actually achieve deep customer satisfaction, all that friction just disappears.
It vanishes.
Satisfied customers stay longer, which increases their lifetime value. They buy more products, which reduces the cost of acquisition for new revenue. They refer others, generating free, highly qualified leads. It literally supercharges the efficiency of the entire first dimension.
And you touched on the most important part, the actual mechanics required to achieve this. High customer satisfaction is not a marketing tactic.
It doesn't happen because you have a great logo.
No, it doesn't happen by accident at all. It requires, mechanically, 2 things: operational excellence and a clearly defined promise to the market.
Right. You have to tell the market exactly what you are going to do, and then you have to have the internal systems, the standard operating procedures, the quality control, the supply chain logistics to execute it flawlessly every single time.
Exactly. If you are a B2B SaaS company, your promise isn't just, good software.
Right.
Your promise might be 99.99% uptime and a response to any support ticket within 15 minutes.
And delivering that requires rigorous operational discipline.
That discipline is what creates the satisfaction, which in turn supercharges the cash flow. It's about protecting today's revenue.
Customer satisfaction protects the cash flow of today. It ensures the fortress is secure.
Right.
But protecting today isn't enough to build an asset class business. You have to create tomorrow. And that brings us to supercharger number 2, which is located in dimension 2, predictable, sustainable growth.
Yes.
And this supercharger is innovation. Now, I want to spend some time on this because innovation is another one of those words that has been entirely hijacked by corporate fluff.
No, completely.
When most people hear innovation, isn't it just getting the team in a room with a whiteboard and brainstorming? Like you picture a windowless conference room, a stack of sticky notes, some lukewarm pizzas, and a 3-hour session where everyone just tries to come up with a disruptive idea. It feels nebulous. It feels disconnected from actual operational discipline.
And I have to strictly refute that based on the text. That definition is functionally useless.
Okay, tell me why.
Innovation is not brainstorming. Brainstorming is an activity. It is a fleeting moment in time. True innovation, the kind that actually supercharges an asset class business, is a disciplined organizational capability.
So it's a permanent pipeline.
Exactly. It is the mechanical ability of an organization to continuously identify, vet, fund, and implement better ideas.
Let's break down the mechanics of that pipeline, because if it's not sticky notes, what is it? How does a company actually build a true innovation engine?
It requires a structured process that operates totally independently of the founder's random light bulb moments.
Right, no heroics.
Exactly. Phase 1 is identification. You need a systematic way to gather data from the front lines, from customer complaints, from sales team friction, from market shifts.
Okay, and phase 2?
Phase 2 is vetting. You don't just throw money at every good idea. You need a disciplined risk assessment process. What is the actual ROI? Does this align with our core competencies? What resources will it drain from our current operations?
So phase 3 would be funding and resourcing. Actually allocating the budget and dedicating personnel to build the prototype or design the new workflow rather than just, asking your current team to do it on top of their day jobs.
Precisely. You have to fund it. And the final, most difficult phase is implementation.
Rolling it out.
Right. Rolling the new idea out into the market or integrating it into the company without breaking the existing 24 gears that are already spinning. And we really must expand our definition of what we are innovating.
What do you mean?
It is not just about inventing a shiny new flagship product. A true innovation pipeline applies across the entire spectrum: products, services, processes, technology, and business models.
Process innovation is incredibly underrated.
It really is.
I mean, you might not change your core software product at all for 2 years. But if your team innovates a completely new way to onboard enterprise clients that cuts the deployment time from 3 months down to 3 weeks, that is a massive gear turning. You have just significantly reduced your operational costs and massively improved customer satisfaction at the exact same time. You innovated the process, not the product.
Or think about business model innovation. Look at how software transitioned from physical CD-ROMs to cloud-based subscriptions.
Right.
The core functionality of the software often remained exactly the same, but innovating the delivery and billing model completely transformed the valuation of the entire tech sector.
It's wild to think about.
But that requires massive strategic capacity to execute successfully.
And when you look at the synergy of these two superchargers, customer satisfaction and innovation, you see the absolute genius of this architecture.
They work together perfectly.
They really do. Customer satisfaction protects today's cash flow. Innovation creates tomorrow's growth. When you have both of these superchargers firing mechanically, something fundamental changes about the nature of your revenue. You transform your company from one that merely generates recurring revenue into one that continually earns it.
Generating versus earning, that's a vital distinction. If you are just generating MRR, you are relying on inertia. You are relying on the fact that switching costs are high, or that your customers are simply too busy to cancel their subscription this month.
You are that automatic gym membership that people forget they have, which is fragile.
Incredibly fragile. But if you are earning it, you are proving your value anew every single month through flawless operational delivery, while simultaneously using your innovation pipeline to ensure your product remains indispensable next year.
You aren't coasting on inertia, you are actively driving value.
This is exactly why an organization with high MRR is not automatically an asset class business. Recurring revenue describes a revenue model. An asset class business describes the quality of the enterprise.
An enterprise that possesses the strategic capacity to endure, innovate, and create wealth, totally independent of any one individual's heroics.
Yes.
So what does this all mean? We've systematically torn down MRR as the ultimate goal. We've built up strategic capacity in the 24-gear engine in its place. How does this architecture actually change the way the real world values a business?
This raises an important question, right? Because it forces a total valuation paradigm shift.
Okay.
For decades, the historical way we've valued businesses has been primarily by their outputs. Revenue, EBITDA margins, trailing 12-month growth rates, and yes, MRR. We looked at the scoreboard to see who was winning.
But the scoreboard only tells you who won the last game.
Exactly. And the most sophisticated private equity firms and strategic acquirers are now asking a different question. What is this business capable of producing tomorrow?
So they are shifting their focus from outputs to capabilities.
Yes. And this explains the massive disparity in valuations we see in the market. Two companies can have the exact same MR, the exact same EBITDA, operating in the exact same industry.
Right.
But one sells for a 4x multiple and the other sells for a 12x multiple.
And the market isn't just being irrational there.
No, not at all. The market is pricing in strategic capacity. The company commanding the premium valuation isn't getting it because they produced great results yesterday.
They are getting it because their due diligence proved they possess the internal engine, the 24 gears, the innovation pipeline, the operational excellence to continue producing those results tomorrow.
Next month and next decade, completely independent of the founder.
They have proven that their engine works without a hero.
MRR might be a characteristic of an asset class business, but it is never the defining characteristic. The defining characteristic is strategic capacity.
It all comes back to the foundation, doesn't it? I mean, you can build a house out of straw, and you can build a house out of brick.
Right.
If you paint them the exact same color, they look identical from the outside. And if the weather is perfectly sunny and calm, both houses will keep you completely dry.
And that is the MRR illusion right there.
The output keeping you dry is identical in good conditions.
But an intelligent investor isn't buying the house for the sunny days.
Exactly. The investor knows a storm is always coming. A macroeconomic downturn, a global supply chain crisis, a disruptive new competitor, some massive shift in consumer behavior.
A pandemic even.
Right. The investor is paying a massive premium for the brick foundation. They are paying for strategic capacity, because that capacity is the only thing that guarantees the house will still be standing when the storm eventually passes.
And the thing is, those 24 gears aren't glamorous.
No, they're really not.
Writing standard operating procedures, meticulously vetting a pipeline for innovation, conducting leadership succession planning, refining your talent acquisition funnel, these things don't make for viral social media posts.
No one is posting their SOPs on Instagram.
Right. They aren't as sexy as a skyrocketing MRR chart, but they are the underlying physics of business survival. They're the only things that actually matter when the pressure hits.
This recalibration of how we look at success is just so vital. We have to stop celebrating the lagging indicators and start doing the hard, quiet, unglamorous work of building the leading
You
indicators.
have to build the engine.
And to wrap this up, our core takeaway, directly from the text, and this is the pearl of wisdom we really want to stick with you, is this. Recurring revenue tells you what the business has done. Strategic capacity tells you what the business is capable of doing.
It's a perfect summary, and I actually want to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Let's hear it.
This isn't just about corporate valuations or private equity buyouts. The principles of strategic capacity apply directly to your own career, your own department, or your own personal projects. I want you to ask yourself the 1-month vacation test.
The 1-month test. I love this.
If you were to step away from your daily responsibilities right now, completely off the grid, no email, no phone calls for 30 straight days, what would happen?
Oh boy.
Would the projects you manage continue to hit their milestones? Would your team know how to solve unexpected problems? Would the value you create continue to compound?
Or would everything grind to a halt and collapse within a week?
Right. In your own professional life, are you relying on your own constant, exhausting individual heroics just to survive day to day? Or are you actively building personal strategic capacity through systems, disciplines, and continuous innovation that will secure your future, even when you aren't in the room?
That is a heavy but incredibly necessary question to sit with. Are you playing the role of the hero, constantly putting out fires? Or are you doing the work of the architect, designing a system that doesn't catch fire in the first place?
Because ultimately, only the architect gets to walk away from the building.
So true. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope it encourages you to keep looking beneath the surface of the metrics you are told to chase. Keep questioning the obvious. Keep looking past the X-ray, because true health, true capacity is always built deep inside the machinery. Until next time, keep learning and keep building.